evening, everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files. I'm host Dr. Freedom, and tonight we're going to sit down and have a little talk about this little-known movie called Star Wars 7. You know, just nobody knows about it at all. It's just coming out of left field. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like, that's true. Oh, my goodness gracious. Apparently, it also has now busted the New Year's Day box office record. It beat Titanic. So,
yay!
It sank Titanic.
Yes! Good.
So, this movie is doing incredibly freaking well. Matter of fact, it shot past 1 billion worldwide in 12 days. And it's just, come on, like, you couldn't, you got to be Nostra dumbass to have not seen this going to happen. You know, it's just a phenomenon, and it's something the older Star Wars fans have been waiting for how many freaking years now, to see the continuation of the story, not some sad prequels that no one will remember 15 minutes from now. But okay, let's move on. Let's get hey there, hi there, ho there's from everybody. Let's start with AJ.
Hi there, guys.
All right, William.
Muted.
You got him. Yeah, you muted.
How you doing, everybody?
Okay, Kevin.
Hello, everyone.
Phillip.
Good evening, people.
Beefhead.
Happy New Year to all, and the detox starts in 364 days.
Matt Rose.
Hello all, and may the force be with you.
Ryan.
Hello, everyone.
And Texas Tim. Oh, my goodness. What more can we say about this thing? It was just, I was really, really amazed. They did a really good job with it. But I want to hear you guys' views first. Let's start with opening thoughts. All right, let's just go really nuts on the order. Let's go for Phillip. What's your opening thoughts on Star Wars The Force Awakens?
My opening thoughts. Do you know what? I was very cagey about what they would do with bringing back Star Wars after so many years and after the disastrous failure of the prequels, shall we say. But this has come up trumps in many ways, and it's a nice homage to bringing back Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and other old stalwarts like Anthony Daniels and R2-D2. The story's fine. And obviously, a lot of people are a bit dismayed about Kylo Ren's portrayal as being a very bratty child. But overall, I enjoyed the story. I've only just managed to watch it in English for the first time since it's come out on various places. And I've bloody enjoyed it. It's a good story. It's a cracking thing. And Mark Hamill, you know where to get your money, don't you, son? So looking forward to the next installment.
Okay, next up, Ryan.
Yeah, I've seen this 3 times in the cinema, and I've loved it every time. I was very, very worried going into it, and it surpassed all of my expectations. The new cast were phenomenal. The old cast were just as phenomenal, if not more, than they were back in the 70s/80s. Just the whole tone of the movie. Yeah, there's a lot of elements that are a lot like New Hope, but in a lot of those cases, I could let it slide. I felt that the whole Raftar thing felt a little out of place in that movie. Probably could have belonged in a different movie, but all in all, a terrific installment in the franchise.
Okay, Matt Rose.
Oh, hello. I've only seen this once in the cinema, and it's just got the great magic of the original 3. It just felt like an incredible mix of the originals with a lot of the new. You can tell. I just found it so fantastic to hear John Williams had come back and done the score on the film, and just to hear the theme blasting into cinema in a nearly what looked like a sold-out cinema, and this was only week 2. It's just a great story. The only nitpicky thing I still have with the film is Starkiller Base. That's the one thing that just bugged me the most, because you've had like 2 bases that have got blown up, and it got blown up in a similar way of the originals. And I thought, surely these people must learn their lessons. making it bigger does not make it better. Other than that, it's just been a phenomenal film. Great setup, and there have been a lot of filming photos, so hopefully that mark's going to be used a lot more in the next one, because it's just set up for a great start. The originals and the new, can't beat them. It was fantastic.
Okay, and they killed Martha Jones! Oh, sorry. Okay, next up, Kevin.
Well, I've only seen it once. We with two friends and my brother, and it was a sold-out theater in IMAX 3D. Holy cow! Let's say that because it was really good. Ray, the score at the beginning is just amazing. John Williams at the age of 83. Man, that's really good for his age then to do this. The story itself was really a mystery, you know. It was about Luke Skywalker, and can I tell some spoilers, or is it because? Yeah,
Oh, there's going to be a spoiler warning, so don't worry about that.
Oh, right. Because the search to Luke Skywalker and Kylo, there was something in Kylo Ren that Anakin didn't had in the prequels. It was something dramatic, you know. It was just like General Snoke like said, "You're going to do this," and you got a lightsaber and you don't know what to do. You know, he had a lightsaber, and the sadness in him, you know, like I'm struggling between the light side and the dark side. He's between the two worlds, and he thinks that Darth Vader is his freaking grandfather. Well, it was cool to see his voice, but then when you see, you know, put his mask off, it was just like a normal kid, you know, just clean face, no scars at all. Well, at the end of the movie. But you saw something that you have never saw before. For me then. And every moment in this movie was just getting, you know, emotional. I keep myself in. So, because there were people behind me that were just, you know, not Star Wars fans. They were just like, you know, irritating people that don't understand the amazing Star Wars fanism. So, Finn, at the beginning of the movie, was really touching to see that he didn't want to be at the dark side. Even Kylo Ren knew he was a traitor because he just stood still and was like, I don't want to be here. Yeah, they were very good. And at the end, Han Solo, that was just very unexpected for me. Really, at the end of the movie, me and my friends and my brother were very quiet in the car when we were going home. We didn't say a word, so that was, you know, for the first time good in our hearts. It was really backstabbing. So yeah, and I really liked it. Awesome movie.
No, sadly, I hate to think that Han's last thought was, if only I'd spanked him more. Okay.
It's a trap.
All right, next up, AJ.
All right, for me, I was quite surprised because being a J.J. Abrams movie, I was expecting to be blinded every 30 seconds by a screen flow. Didn't get that, which is good. The movie itself was, I thought, brilliant, and the acting and all the other special effects, all the practical effects, top notch.
Okay, William.
I was fortunate to see this movie on opening day. I was so glad it was back to the original trilogy with the practical effects and all that. I was totally floored with that. Of course, you know what happened to Han Solo in the movie. You know, it had to be, you could say plot-wise, if it almost followed the original Star Wars, A New Hope. You know that you see a teacher or father figure got killed. So it followed that path like that. you know, that's it was good to see the past other characters like Chewbacca and Leia and all them return. And I wish I had Luke Skywalker's agent, man, to earn what he earned for that 1 minute cameo, man. It was great. That was a good job he got there. And of course to see the new characters like Captain Phasma and all that was pretty cool. The only I can't say plot wise it was a you could say it was a simple plot. It just follows through like that. Of course, still reminding us of the past movie where we saw the return of the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. So it was good to see that. The only gripe I got with you said gripe is the character of Kylo Ren, because to me Fire Truck Kylo Ren, because I seen other characters that are bad guys that doesn't act such a wuss like like he acts in the movie. I mean, there's something you want to be a leader, then you need to know how to suck it up and deal with bad situations. But him acting like a little spoiled kid, that one got me a little bit upset about. Hopefully they could fix that in the next movie.
Yeah, because this is just the opening chapter, so who knows where it's going to go.
Yeah, they're going to start filming this month too.
Mm-hmm. Beefhead.
Well, there was a lot of hype in the run-up towards this. You had Harrison Ford say, you won't be disappointed. This is going to be a fantastic movie. Kevin Smith, who's a huge Star Wars fan in himself, said, I went to the set while they were filming and everything like that. And obviously, everyone had lots of concern because it was J.J. Abrams. They had a script and script writer in place, which then got jacked, and they brought Larry Kasdan in. And all I can do is thank the stars that they did. Like Will, I went to go and see it on the opening day, expecting to be absolutely besieged in the theatre. Very surprised when I went there. I do think maybe people were perturbed on the first couple of days in the UK. It was actually a half-empty theatre, but it meant it was easily more enjoyable anyway, and it did not disappoint. I don't think just the fact that it is Star Wars and it's capitalising on nostalgia actually changed it. It's not. It was actually able to reinstill a sort of feeling of wonder. It did transport you back to being a kid again and the fun element of it, and that's what movies should do at their core. So in that sense, it was excellently done. Matt says the music, John Williams is always on point. You had familiar themes coming back at certain points, which was excellently done. But what counted most for me, I think, was that it did feel like it wasn't a cut and paste job. It felt like, yes, you were 30 years after Jedi, and that was so well translated into the film. You actually cared about the new characters, you cared about the old characters, and none of them was given one bit too much than the other, and it blended so well. I thought Poe Dameron is going to be a fantastic character. I look forward to seeing that. I'd love to know more about Max von Sydow's character. Maybe we'll get that in flashback later. If you want to nitpick on points, yes, you do lose a little bit of mystique when the mask comes off, but I do get that. You have a fantastic feeling of something familiar of that. You get the New Hope, but also I think, which you have to have now for the sort of audience you have a good bit of Empire mixed into it, certainly the ending anyway, partially due to the writer. But yeah, tremendous practical effects. The special effects in themselves were fantastic. Seeing the X-Wings, the way they move, superbly realised. The supporting cast, everyone and anyone's going to push for a cameo in this, that I'm sure we'll get onto later. And it is just a fantastic movie that is literally ages 8 to 80. This will be one that will just run and run and run. It will be one that will just run on TV, and for a newer audience, it can stand on its own. You don't necessarily have to have seen the ones that come before to understand what is going on in this. So, to give it opening thoughts, absolutely fantastic. One thing J.J. Abrams does do extremely well is he does openings well. The difficult second movie he always falls down on. Hopefully he's not doing the next one, but even if he did, I might even be willing to give it a gamble. But from this, it's a highly satisfactory start massive, massive props to everyone involved.
Okay, and Texas Tim.
Well, I can't argue with any of that. I agree with Beef on a lot of those points. I would say it was a very good balance of the nostalgia for the classic characters. I mean, you had just enough of them, but it wasn't their story. What I really liked was the new characters. I mean, particularly the young lady, what's her name, Ray?
Yeah.
And then Finn. I think just because it was all about them, wasn't it? I mean, it's like they just all of a sudden get caught up in this story. It's very much like it's almost like they're ticking all the boxes of all the set pieces you need to have for a really good Star Wars movie, based on, mainly Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. And I think it was amazingly put together. I agree that Kylo Ren is maybe a bit much in that direction, that that maybe we should be getting away from at this point. But I think that was just his story, wasn't it? I mean, he's got daddy issues or whatever, and he's got to work through that, and he did it. Probably the worst thing you could ever do to work through that. But I don't know where they're going with this. I mean, everybody says it's a setup for the next 2 films. But I really enjoyed it. I felt like I was 12 years old again watching Star Wars, which, only happens, once. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, we're going to open it up. Let's start with the villain. Well, he's not actually the villain, but he is working for the other side. Let's start with Kylo Ren. Now, Kylo Ren here, what made this even more gut-wrenchingly emotional was the fact that you find out that this is Han and Leia's kid, and then he's the one who turned around and turned on, Skywalker and the new Jedi Order that he was trying to found. That just right there made it twice as emotional as the betrayal that happened way back when, when Vader turned. So let's hop in on that. Anybody?
I think Kylo Ren, right from the get-go, that opening scene, he was just amazing. I remember just being in pure shock when he turns around and stops that laser bolt, and he keeps it there for at least 2 minutes before walking off and just letting it go. That right there, I'm like, this guy means business. He's on a mission, and he is not going to stop for anyone. Yeah, he takes I guess it's not really a tonal shift. I feel he's a little bit lost inside. I believe the character's around 29, 30 years old. He's being swayed. He can't decide where he's going. And I think that in the next film, we'll see a much sturdier Kylo Ren.
Don't you think it's that Kylo Ren in this movie was a bit of a loose cannon for both sides, even for the dark side, because he's slightly unhinged, and you would think that the dark side would have a bit more control on how they mold him. So it's a bit of a dangerous loose cannon he was for me.
I think that's a setup though, because he says Snoke says, he's got to come back and complete his training in the same way that Luke, before he completed his training with Yoda, was a completely different character. He was still a bit whiny and everything like that. So, you've still got sort of emo Kylo Ren at that point. And by the time you meet Luke Skywalker and Jedi, he's completely, he's up one. I think that's it. You will get that development.
Do you think he might have been a more effective villain if he hadn't been Han Solo's son? I mean, do you think maybe that's kind of, by making it be all about, the daddy issues or whatever, do you think maybe he might have been more effective? Because he was a bit tantrum throwy throughout. I mean, like, chopping up walls and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe, like you said, he was on his way somewhere.
Those weird, they're making it sound like they trying to tell him from the dark side back to the light. That's they want him to get redemption. But the thing is, that the way he did to Han Solo, the best remedy for that little whiny brat is have his head chopped off, and that's that.
I certainly hope he does not get the redeeming end like Darth Vader did.
Unfortunately, that's what I think is going to happen to him eventually down the line. He's going to get
in a way. Then they don't need to do that because that's already done already in Return of the Jedi. You don't need to copy it, but then that's gonna upset.
Yeah, but this is
it doesn't make a difference if the fans saw it way back then. They know how that movie ends and what happened with Darth Vader. You don't need to see it again. you got to change certain stuff. Just like right now, certain people think that this girl who was left on the planet for many years might be Luke Skywalker's daughter.
I was thinking that.
Yeah,
They don't need
Yeah.
to do that because
Why not? Why
because
not?
the Force is everywhere and it goes into any body.
Yeah,
It
but-
doesn't just go to Skywalker.
Yeah, but remember when that Origiana woman said, what her name is, I don't know.
Yeah.
That thing that she said, somebody had it, and then she said that statement like the father had it, the other person had it, and she obviously meant to say that Ray had it as well, which means she's connected to
That would be too easy, though, wouldn't it? Like Will said, they've already done that. Wouldn't it be better for her just to be a random person that suddenly became a hero?
I don't think they go that far. I don't think they'll do that.
Well, they should.
I think that's what
Also-
made it interesting.
It has. It'd be better they did that because you don't want it making it almost sound like the Force is only around and can be used by Skywalker family. That's not the way it is.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Will. I understand that. You're right. I understand that. But because this is a self-contained adventure about these people within that adventure, there you go.
Also, you know, you can debate what's happening here, but in Disney Infinity, Kylo Ren says to Rey, "It's good to see you again, cousin."
Ooh.
Well, thanks.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but that's Infinity. That's I don't think that with a grain of salt.
What if Kylo Ren is just a minor villain and actually he doesn't become the focus of the next two films? What if he just, you know?
Maybe Snoke, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. No.
I'm pretty sure the guys he was working with on the dark side weren't that impressed with his performance. I mean, he kind of got his ass handed to him by a girl. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
plus, you know, I don't know. He was a bit too tantrum throwy. So
Yeah.
Also,
Oh,
AJ's
yeah.
had his hand up here for a while, guys. So.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think Kylo Ren is bi-side curious. Personally, like he wants to be the dark side, he wants to be the light side, he wants to be the dark side. I think make up your mind, pull your nappy off, and just deal with it.
Yeah, but it's not a case of make up your mind. He's been pulled by two irresistible forces, the good and the bad. And you know, when you, it's like when your head fucked. Oh, excuse my language, but you know.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, Darth Vader was like the original bad guy, and he's trying to emulate Darth Vader. Do you ever see Darth Vader just get pissy and start carving up a wall?
No, he
No,
killed
he
somebody.
took it out on the guys. He wasted the staff members.
Yeah, he went around and killed somebody. He went and shot the console, which is another thing that has me a bit curious about Kylo Ren. He never once identifies himself as being a Dark Lord of the Sith. He doesn't really refer, I guess he does say, "I'll show you the dark side," but he doesn't see himself as even being anywhere near Vader's level, at least in my opinion.
No,
Yeah.
but also, remember the second time he's having that hissy fit, and you see these two stormtroopers walking along the hallway. One of them stops the other one. They go, "No, that's a big rope," and they turn around.
Oh, hell no!
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that's because it is Disney and they don't want to be as, because the original that is pretty shocking in Star Wars when Darth Vader kills random people when he's upset or whatever. So, I mean, do you think maybe that was them toning it down a little bit?
I don't know. I was shocked that they had that scene where they had the stormtroopers massacring the village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they were actually shooting people and hitting them.
Yep.
And
They're not clones. They're not clones.
you do a flashback scene where you actually see him, and the other Knights of Ren, which hopefully we'll see sometime in the future, slaughter the rest of the Jedi in training. Yeah, Kylo is a Jedi, or Sith Lord, however you want to look at it, in training. I think what's going to be interesting is the way is that you're probably going to have Rey and his character, and they're both going to be working in opposite directions, and at some point there's going to be the intersection. It's a familiar scene. You had Anakin. If you just put Anakin and Darth, I suppose, in that first three films, it's his journey, and he goes out of his comfort zone somewhere. He's changed and goes down that. Luke goes from somewhere that's comfortable, goes along, and his path has changed, and he goes down the opposite line. It's sort of, we haven't had that fork in the road with his character yet, and that's why he's still but you know which way. Yeah, he's veering to that side. So I think that the development is going to be interesting with him, especially now Han is out of the equation. Whether you could have had the rest of the film and he not take the mask off, I wonder if you could still have had the same intensity to it. I don't know, because you do lose a certain amount of mystique with your villain who in a mask.
I agree.
Well, they had to make it personal though to his father, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't saw that coming, to reveal that he was the son of Han.
I don't think that death would have been as effective if he had his mask on than it would have been.
Yeah.
Than it is the way it is now, you know, like so.
It's certainly an acting up child thing, to be honest with you. Right? Yeah, Han couldn't handle the parental thing, so he palmed him off to Luke to train him as a Jedi. And then obviously when Han wants to step up later, then obviously there's that teenage emo kid, angsty, lash out, whereby he completely kebabs him. So I can understand it. It's always going to be a bugbear, but I think hopefully it's something that will pan itself out. Yeah.
Maybe it's a case of where you're always hearing how great your mom and dad are, what a hero your uncle is. Maybe it's just that kind of thing where he never felt like he could fit in, you know. So, because, I mean, his parents and his uncle are heroes, so it's like, you know, maybe
because Max Van Sydow taunts him about it at the start before he cuts him down.
Yeah, and I think adding that whole family thing just builds upon the character, and I'm glad that the reveal that he was their son, it came like pretty early in the film. It's like bang right there, and
well, that's good. That's a good thing. You don't want to drag that along too much.
It does, yeah. Because I'm like trying to think, when could they have slotted that in the movie? I think they put it right in the perfect place. But I think that, I mean, when you go back and watch the original Star Wars, Darth Vader is just a glorified lapdog. Like, I'm sorry, but he's not really an interesting character in that movie. I have to be honest.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, I was about to see it, so I beg.
He's immediately impressive from the first time he walks through that door with the smoke and all the stormtroopers.
Again,
he's immediately impressive because you don't know what he is. Is he a robot? Is he this? Is he that? Yeah, he may be Grand Moff Tarkin's bitch for part of it, but not really. Not really, because who gets away in the end? He does. He doesn't blow up in the Death Star. So, no, he's in that movie. He's a great character,
and he was a better one in the second one.
Exactly. That's my point I'm making. He doesn't become a better character until the sequel, when he has the more added depth. He actually does stuff. I would say Grand Moff Tarkin is probably the main overall antagonist in that movie. Vader's just kind of there, and then Vader steps up in the sequel, and that's the kind of stuff that I like with Kylo Ren. He's very deep, he's tangible, you can kind of understand where he's coming from, and I'm hoping they kind of do the reverse of what they did with Vader. We've got his development, we've got all of that, now we can scrap that. He's got a big old facial scar now, terrific, and now we can hopefully move on. I hope he keeps the cross-guard lightsaber, because he's got.
That's gonna be his trademark signature anyway. So he's gonna have that anyhow.
Yeah. But man, also the fight between Finn and Rey and Kylo Ren.
That was quite. For me, that was a kind of a weak fight because they're just learning how to use a lightsaber. There, you can tell by the way how.
But the emotion, you could see that they didn't have any freaking training, and it was so.
That's the point, isn't that the point, Phillip? Because they are untrained, and yet, I mean, it was because they both have the Force in them or whatever that they're able to realize what's going on and let it take over their abilities.
Hang on. So it's only just Rey that has the Force in it. Finn is just wielding like a weapon.
Everybody has it. Is how you tap into it and use it. Remember, when he was a stormtrooper, somebody had the Force, and when they touch his face with that blood hand, you see like his mind woke up from a deep sleep, and he realized where he was. So whoever touched his face, that person had the Force in him, but was not a Jedi Knight. He just used it to wake his mind up from the deep sleep or.
Oh, I thought
he
I
was in.
thought it was just a dying kind of like.
It looked like it, but when you see the scene and you hear the sound effect of somebody waking up from a deep sleep.
Okay.
Okay, I thought that was just another stormtrooper that wiped his face.
Yeah, it was, but I think they did say in the original, or maybe the other 3 parts we don't like talking about. The force is in everybody. Everybody has it. It's just
the midichlorians.
You have to be trained to know how to use it right. Some of them could become a good mechanic or a good pilot or other things, but to become like the level of a Jedi, that's a lot of training.
Well, something woke him up from being, because here's the thing. This is an interesting question that what does the Empire do? They breed people into service. Because he was assigned to be a stormtrooper from when he was a kid or something, apparently.
Yeah,
so he goes about his training. He becomes one of those people, but then suddenly he's not comfortable doing what they want him to do. He doesn't want to shoot a bunch of people. So that was when I guess this force is inside him is taking him over, and I do believe he is one of those people that has it. Just like it wakes up in the girl at the same point at some point.
Yeah.
Also,
you got a point. You got a point. It makes sense.
That Kylo Ren tries to get in Rey's head,
And she's like,
and then you hear that the Force theme. Rey is, calm and. Damn, like.
You mean when he told that guard to release her and drop the weapon?
Yeah,
that was James Bond.
Yeah, that was James Bond.
if by supposition, if Rey is Luke Skywalker's daughter, let's just say she is, how is it then that Leia doesn't know who she is? If she's unless Rey's using
That's why I think that would be the most boring thing they could do is make her related to Skywalker. I think it should be just a random person that suddenly has that ability that has a connection with him, but it's not, like a blood relative, just somebody that, because look at how she acts when she finally meets him and gives him back his lightsaber. I mean, they look like they know each other in their mind, but not as a family or physical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Mark Hamill didn't say anything, and his scene was perfect.
That was brilliant. They leave you waiting. Sorry, AJ. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that scene bothered me. For 3 minutes, Luke Skywalker was on screen. He could have said at least one word, or one sentence, like it's time.
If he did talk, they would have to pay him more money than he was paid.
That's the point. Don't you think? I thought it was brilliant how it's all build up until that very last scene when he shows who he is, and you're like, wow.
And the eyes are speaking for itself. The eyes between the actors are speaking for itself. You can see what they are telling.
Can you just leave it alone?
Well, that answers the question why Luke Skywalker is not on the movie poster.
Yeah, I can say that.
I would have liked if you turned around and said, "Where the hell did you get that? What in the hand with that?"
But the reveal is a fantastic echo of Guinness from the first movie, and it's in the same way as well. What Lucas' idea was the idea of the old westerns as well, and the sort of samurai aspect of it as well. It's that he's his students betrayed him, he's thrown away his sword, his gun, however you want to look at it, that being handed back to him. That is excellently done. But also the mimicry, the physical mimicry that he does without saying anything, you just get a pure flash of Alec Guinness when he pulls his food back.
When he lifts up exactly. It's brilliant. I thought it was a brilliantly done scene. I think just the fact that she goes that far to taking back the sword, because it's like a couple of months have passed, right, since all that happened, and she knows a little bit more now. And I just get the idea that this is great setup for where they want to go next.
I only had one little gripe with Finn and his kind of apparent desire for Rey. It's like, what? Where's this? It was just too overplayed a little bit for me.
I don't think it's a love thing. I don't think there's a love thing like you had that thing with Luke and Leia potentially that you saw in the first one. I don't think you get that. There is certainly a protective thing. It sounds strange. I don't think that Finn has the Force or whatever, to be honest with you, because you have in the second act, he has the lightsaber and he's clumsy with it, and Rey has the blaster and she's clumsy with it. They get the weapons they're meant to by the third act. which is the lightsaber and the blaster.
And
they're
then
both
Guy came.
Yeah.
I think he's, to be honest with you, a next generation Han Solo, because he does something. He wants to get away from it, but he does something because it's the right thing to do, and that's when he has that compass turnaround by the sort of end of the second act.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that with him being possibly the new Han Solo figure because of the way he was dressed and just the swagger that he had, like Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is Ben, or Han Solo in this movie is Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
I feel that the whole Poe Dameron thing.
True. That's so true.
I love that one today. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
I felt the whole they mishandled the kind of killing off of Poe Dameron, because like in the first trailer, what do we see? Poe Dameron in the X-wing, and then he like dies, which I thought would have been effective had I not known he was gonna pop up later. But I think they handled that well. BB-8 stole the show.
Yes, he did for me. That little
the
droid is
lighter.
wonderful.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah. He's a
That
brilliant
lighter
droid.
part. I mean, the showing I saw it in, it was the 12:30 showing, and the audience was just cracking up at BB-8 every time he was on screen, and they brought back Admiral Akbar.
Yeah. It's a trap. But go on, yeah.
There was 5 people who yelled that in the cinema. Myself included.
And BB-8 was not a toy commercial, which the prequels were. There was a blatant toy commercial aspect to it, even though we've had them in the run-up to this movie with all the hype and pomp and everything like that. This was not a 2-hour toy commercial.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phasma got Boba Fetted, though.
It's a shame the actress who played Captain Phasma, that character's that's the script for the character was already written before the actress was hired.
Yeah.
So we never saw the face of it. So maybe the next movie we see more of Captain Phasma.
That's
Especially
another thing that amazed me. You had this stormtrooper in this movie who obviously was trained to fight with this thing that could deflect a lightsaber.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it seems like a certain type of electricity can repel lightsabers, because we saw Grievous's guards use those staffs.
Yeah, those light stars, yeah.
And so there we go. I guess that kind of answers why they don't make armor out of lightsaber repellent stuff, because it would need to be electrified. I liked, like when I first saw Snoke, it was very off-putting, because I'm like, there's this giant character, what are they going to do with that? But then it's a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
Although apparently the character himself is around 7 feet tall. And the internet is just like lighting up with the rumors that he's Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the
there we go.
Inquisitor.
Yeah.
That's the other rumor right there.
Yep.
That allegedly he's the Grand Inquisitor from back in Star Wars Rebels.
But then my friend told me something very interesting the last time I saw the movie, and that is, why is the First Order called the First Order when there's been at least 65 other orders?
There
What
have.
Oh, Order
What if-
66.
Oh,
What if Palpatine didn't come up with all 66 orders, but
What if
Plagueis,
Snoke did? Yeah.
Plagueis came up with the First Order?
no, I don't buy the Plagueis theory either, because it was pretty obvious that Plagueis was killed.
Mm-hmm.
From what Palpatine says.
Yeah, but I think Plagueis is long since dead. I think that's just something they're throwing up to hope it's true. I want to see more proof before I go down the Darth Plagueis road.
Yeah,
Because
because
Snoke was really big.
and he was
Yeah.
killed in the Plagueis novel.
you notice that
Don't bring novels.
you know that they
Marvel's
keep calling
like all over them. You really can't call them canon in the Star Wars universe. There's been so many different ones. It's crazy. Oh, sorry, William. Go ahead.
No, I just noticed that they keep calling Leia General Leia. So that even though her and Han Solo has a son, they never mentioned at all did they ever did get married, considering she's still using the name when she was princess.
From what we could tell, obviously after what happened there, everybody got estranged from one another because it had to have been such a, an emotional blow. Come on, here's Luke. He's trying to reform the new, Jedi thing. Then of all the people to turn around and stab you in the back, but your best friend's son? Come on, how do you...
Well, that is his nephew.
Nephew, yeah.
That's his nephew.
Like I said, yeah, but it's still Han Solo, his best friend, his son. That's what I said. Your own nephew, yeah. That's just a double backstab, man.
But William, we don't know if they use the same things that we do in this planet, where you take on the last name of your husband. I mean, plus she's already a titled princess and senator before that, and So I mean, of course she's going to keep her name. She's not going to go around being Mrs. Solo. I don't think.
Or it could be she left the whole
Solo now.
There was something.
She wasn't even more.
Solo now.
She just left the whole political thing behind as an end result.
And if he started calling him Han Organa, that would have been really dodgy.
Oh, trust me, you don't want to hear half the names we used to come up with for Star Wars characters like Princess Lamy Orgasma and.
I think the thing about this movie is that even with the reveals that are in the movie, there's still that satisfying moment. Like the reveal of the Millennium Falcon, that was so well done. What about that shit? That shit's garbage. Ship gets blown up. Garbage it is. Millennium Falcon. Yeah. Perfect introduction.
Well, I like the way they just ran off with it too. They just stole it, and she didn't even know really how to do it. I mean, she learned quick though, because man, they outrun all those bad guys. It was really clever. That was a great set.
The way the Falcon is moving, I was just mesmerized from start to finish of that chase scene. Just seeing it maneuver the way it does, it was just amazing to see that.
And the scene when when the hyperspace isn't working, and then Ray just plucks a wire out, whole component.
She bypassed the compressor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the one thing that I don't know how to feel about it is the reveal that Kylo Ren's name is Ben.
Well, yeah, because when I listened and he shouted Ben, I was like, oh, Ben Solo. Oh,
yeah. Well, Ben Kenobi.
Yes.
Like,
well,
I haven't even read anything from the expanded universe, and I was hoping for the reveal that Jason was going to be his name.
Oh, no, Disney wasn't going to do that. Disney decided the whole expanded universe is dead as far as they're concerned. It's done. Stick a fork in it.
Unless they do it.
So these movies stand on their own without any other media, or are they tied in with any of it? Because I believe
except for their novels, Rebels, and Clone Wars.
You got the seven movies, the animated cartoons that they're showing, and so far all the comics that Marvel has released.
Okay, what they killed was the expanded universe. What had happened is sometime after Return of the Jedi had come out, there was a set of 3 novels that Lucas officially recognized, originally as being what he declared the sequels to the original. And that was the Timothy Zahn novels, which was Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. And there was an entire role-playing system, entire saga, entire set of characters that all came from that expanded universe. But that's now all been declared dead by Disney. But you see, what I liked about the expanded universe, though, and you can jump in on this one, was in the expanded universe books, there was no more Death Stars. There was no Dark Lord of the Sith who took over. It was a guy named Grand Admiral Thrawn who took over the remnant of the Empire and was basically making life hell for everybody because he was starting to rebuild it. But you see, that's kind of one thing I got to hesitate about, and I'll bring this one up. Star Killer Base, which of course was named from Luke Skywalker's original name in the original script.
Yeah.
But did we really need another bigger Uber Death Star?
No, that was one of my biggest gripes.
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool the way they explained it. You know, giant planet literally kills a star just to operate.
But it didn't bother me because it stands to reason. If that's the kind of weaponry or thing you do, then you're going to continue to do it, even if yours got blown up a couple of times. I would think that's the whole advantage of what they have. It's like a moving planet that can go wherever it wants to and you know, blow up whatever it wants. So
Plus,
it's not surprising to see it again.
You've got to have a bigger gun.
with the Death Star, it was just fly down a trench, shoot, fly off. They had to send a crew, in this case, Han and Finn and all of that. Well, it was a ploy to rescue.
You remember in the first Star Wars film, though, that's a flaw that they discovered, which was the whole point. It wasn't like it was designed, oh, well, if you want to blow this place up, shoot your rocket over here. No, it was a design flaw that they had discovered. That was the whole point of the movie. That was the whole point of sending the robots out with the information to take to whoever, and then it got, you know.
That's going to be in this December's Rogue One film. That whole.
That's what happens when you outsource your Death Star to non-union labor.
Mhm.
But I do like how they didn't really copy it, but they gave you a different version of events in this movie. It was the same kind of principle, though. The robot has something that they need. Somebody discovers it accidentally and ends up helping that robot make its journey and get where it needs to be. And I thought that was pretty cool. It was just like a throwback to the original film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with the villains, you've got to have a viable threat. They have got to have the big gun. It's not a case of who's got the most guys, because you have to have that sort of thing. Now, at the end of the day, well, why make something so vulnerable? Remember, they had to crash a ship virtually into it at light speed to actually get in there without being detected. And then they had to blow the internal casing of it up before they could even do any damage to it. Okay, you know, that, but not speed. They had to get the shields taken down by Gravestar. So it's okay, it's a bit of a hodgepodge of what you had from perhaps Jedi, but it was no means made an easy job. So, yeah, you have to have the big stick.
And
yeah.
Another character who I thought was really cool was General Hux. That they wanted to have a younger actor portray that role to get a deeper sense of sympathy for the character. You know, here's this young guy, and he's in charge of all this.
Oh.
Yeah, he seemed more evil than Kylo Ren. I like that.
Oh, gosh. You mean that guy who was like a poster for the Aryan Nation? Oh, man. He was creepy. He was one, mean, evil little snotty dude. But it's come on. Whew.
Bow for the First Order.
John Gleason, isn't it? Dominic Gleason's son.
Yeah, Donald Gleason.
But really, when I thought Poe, the first shot of Poe, the shadow, I really thought it was the guy that was in Empire Strikes Back, that was flying the Millennium Falcon.
Who? Wedge Antilles?
Probably,
so
yeah.
You had Nub Nub. Nub Nub showed up as an X-Wing fighter.
Yes, I love that. That was.
Yeah, that was one thing I was glad they done. At least we had alien X-Wing pilots this time around.
And women.
Yeah.
Red October standing by. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. A lot of Game of Thrones people in this film.
Yeah, there were a lot of cameos with the battle scene.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg.
Yeah, Daniel Craig, Owen McGregor.
Right. Am I right in believing that Daniel Craig was the part where she tried to mind
yes,
control?
That's him.
Sure, yeah.
That was it.
Okay, cool. I got it now.
And I'll drop my weapon.
Yes.
Very good.
Okay,
it just goes to show that people all want to get into this thing, just if it's even just the tiniest of cameos, and that's cool.
I went to the next one. You're going to see more cameos, I bet.
Yeah, Freeman Adjaman.
They're already filming, right?
She died, man!
They're starting this month.
Yeah.
Oh, this is for the second installment. Oh, okay.
Any other issues? Anything else anyone wanted to bring up?
Too bad R2D2 only showed up in near the end of the film.
It's also because Kenny Baker is getting rather old, and this was his last appearance as R2D2. They've already
He's a
hired
consultant on
Jimmy
this
V. They've hired Jimmy V to play R2D2 from now on in the next 2 films.
Wow.
Yeah. Banana
So
laughter.
Yep. Okay, AJ, you had your hand up.
I was going to say the female dominatrix stormtroopers.
Oh, AJ, you're woken up too early again.
I liked C-3PO in it. It was funny seeing him again.
Now, can someone explain to me about the Red Arm?
Yes, I
really?
wanted to know.
My theory is that Rocket Raccoon took it as part of an escape plan.
I hope it's like revealed in future installments that Luke's hand grew an evil clone.
Oh, come
What?
on.
Oh, get out of there.
No.
We're talking
If
about
they were gonna do that, they would have done that with Vader's remaining.
I had to make the reference. It was too good.
Okay.
we're talking about that next week. So
I'd like to know about Ray's X-wing pilot plush toy that she's got.
Yes.
They did release the film novel about all this stuff that come out the day after.
that's one thing I got to heavily recommend. If you have not read Aftermath, go read it.
It's on
Because-
audiobook too, Freedom.
Huh?
It's on audiobook as
Yeah.
well.
That's where I heard it. I listened to it on audiobook. And it does explain a lot about the events after Endor leading up to Jakku.
Yeah.
And you see, one of the things they didn't get around to explaining in the movie itself was the reason why you got all that stuff lying around on Jakku is because that was the last major battle between the Empire and the Rebellion. It wasn't Endor. The last stand came there, and the Empire lost, and lost big. But actually, the Rebellion also took a good chunk. But the thing is that wasn't explained was the fact that there were still people that actually preferred things under the Empire. Matter of fact, Coruscant was basically like a battleground because there were still people hiding in the under thing that wanted the Empire to stay. And they explain a lot of that in the Aftermath novels.
Well,
And the
yeah.
one on the film that come out explained a lot of stuff that was cut.
Yeah.
It was like, because like when they're approaching the planet at the end, I don't know why, but for some reason I got really worried that was prehistoric Earth. And I'm actually not the only one who thinks that. I've seen a few people say, oh, I got really worried that was going to be Earth. Because like when they're approaching the planet, it looks a lot like Earth. And, you know, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, this is a part of a star system that hasn't been explored yet. So I was getting worried that was going to be a twist at the end of the movie, and I was going to be like,
Can I just say something? Do you know the difference between a galaxy and a star system, right?
oh, I know.
Wow.
It was from Scaling an Island.
I'm sorry, I just got to be accurate here.
This ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 14 parsecs.
It was 12.
Exactly. Okay, so it was a fun run.
Do you know what I did miss? Oh, that's the wrong planet, though, isn't it? I was going to say, I missed all the things like Jawas and Tusken Raiders, but that was the wrong planet.
Tatooine.
Yeah, we need to go back to Tatooine and see all those.
Oh yeah, my last favourite character is Maz. I loved her.
Well,
Yes.
can I say what my favorite characters were?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
Way, Finn, and Kylo Ren.
Boom.
Basically everybody, then. Yeah?
And Han Solo. So
Everybody, then.
I loved it how
My
Maz
big
is like
theory
she was
is-
an old lover.
yeah,
My big theory about what's going to happen coming up next, I think that Poe Dameron and Finn are going to hook up.
Yes, I've been hearing that a lot. A lot of people want that to happen.
ah,
Why would they need that to happen, though?
I don't know. It's been popping up on forums everywhere.
That's just ridiculous. Why would that? Silly.
Oh, it's bloody 10 times better than people shipping Rey and Kylo Ren based off nothing at all.
yeah.
Do we always have to have the token bum chums in the movie, man? Come on.
No.
Yeah, I hope they I mean, I didn't think there was anything wrong with Kylo Ren's outfit, but I hope we get a little change like he did with Vader. You know, a few little things changed on Vader's outfit. Hope maybe, I don't know, we get an actual cape on Kylo Ren or something, shoulder armor.
I thought Phil was the fashion police.
So, all right, what I loved about this movie, though, more than anything, was the fact that it's left us with a stack of questions.
Yeah.
How did, who left Rey on Jakku? How did the Millennium Falcon, why did it wind up there eventually? Could it just been coincidence? We don't know.
And how did Mars get the lightsaber?
And
Exactly. Yeah, that thing was cut off in Bespin.
She was the cleaner on Bespin.
There you go, sanitation.
Sanitation.
Also,
Yeah.
Hold on, AJ got something to say.
Go ahead, AJ.
Is no one else going to mention the fact that Chewie had a crossbow laser blaster?
Well, it worked good when Han used it. He liked it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying it was a crossbow laser blaster.
Yeah, he's had that for a while.
Yeah.
It's always been that.
Yeah. He had that back in what you call Return of the Jedi.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. The name. All right, the name of the weapon, and I guess because I've encountered it in the role playing, it's officially called a bowcaster.
But doesn't he have it in Star Wars as well? And all the photos, the promotional photos of him and Han Solo with the gun.
Yeah, I thought he had that from the beginning.
Yeah, it's a crossbow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's called a bowcaster. It's a very, very, very powerful energy weapon.
I mentioned before, I'm not a massive fan. Sorry.
Can I ask a question?
It's all good.
Right, Disney have paid $5 billion for this, well, and obviously Indiana Jones, but $5 billion. They've done an absolute blinding job, and they've delivered a fantastic movie. Does anyone think that Lucas of going, oh crap?
Yep.
He did. In an interview, he was complaining, saying he didn't like it for whatever reason. And it's like, really? Grow up, idiot. You sold it. And boo-hoo for you then.
Yeah, but he also tried to get...
Yeah, he said it was too retro.
I didn't think I would walk out of the movie theater saying, damn, I wish J.J. Abrams was directing the other one. But I did. I'm like, damn, I actually wanted that.
I said, damn, thank goodness he's not doing it. And he's not directing them. Somebody,
I think that's what he does, though. He starts things and then moves on unless other people take over. Or like Tim said, and that's not a bad thing, because this is a damn good Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Do you think George Lucas has got all grapes, or do you think he's thinking,
Yes.
oh, do you know what, I would have done it this way, and do you think we'd have got a worse film?
I hate to say it, but the prequels were the result of George getting his way.
Yeah.
Were they? Oh, okay.
Those were all George Lucas.
Jar Jar is the key to this. Phantom Menace.
Jar Jar Binks.
And I mean, I'm a massive fan of Revenge of the Sith, but the other two prequels were just... No.
Sith was the one I sat there and waited through how many other movies for. That was the one scene I finally wanted to see was towards the end, and that's the only thing I wanted to see in that whole year. Nothing else needed to be done. Matter of fact, I'll openly say this. This right here, this movie we got this year, should have been what we got back in the 90s, not freaking prequels covering over old ground that we already knew what was going to happen. Hell, I knew about the saber fight between Kenobi and Darth Vader back when the novelization came out back in 78. Mm-hmm. So I was glad they did do that scene. It was brilliantly done, but still, the prequels were unnecessary. It was just a whole bunch of guys sitting around in semicircles contemplating their frickin' navels or debating political issues for the most part. Binks. Ooh.
But then are the next movie going to delve into prequelism, as in going to the past and showing us what was what?
No.
Allegedly they have hired actors to play younger versions of the various characters, and they're basically it's going to be like a few just flashbacks here and there to help fill gaps, and nothing big. Also, they have apparently hired somebody for the Han Solo movie to play younger Han Solo, but I can't remember who the heck it is.
And I forget what he's doing, but Hayden Christensen has started doing something.
Yeah, street miming, because that's about all he was good for. I'm not kidding. Ooh.
In Attack of the Clones, he was bad. I'll give you that, but he was at least tolerable in Sith.
Yes, he was. In Sith, he was a lot better.
If you are not with me, then you are my enemy. You will take it.
I just hope, like, in one scene in Rogue One, because, you know, Vader's supposedly in it, I just hope his, like, helmet gets destroyed or something, and, you know, we get a little bit
No.
of Hayden Christensen. Burnt-ass Darth Vader.
Why would it be destroyed
Well,
then?
It wouldn't be destroyed. Rogue One is going to mainly be the story of how they got the plans to the Death Star. That's all it's going to be. They're even going to digitally lift George. Oh wait, no, what am I saying? George Governor Tarkin out of the original,
Question.
and that's how he's going to appear in that one as well. He's going to have a small scene, nothing big, but so it's going to be actually Peter Cushing, removed from the previous movie, doing a scene, just a brief one for Rogue One, apparently. But if they do it right. I'm just saying, I just want to say, if they do it right, it should be brilliant, because when they took Arnold out of the original Terminator and put him into the Salvation movie, the rest of the Salvation movie pretty much sucked, but that scene was so realistic, you couldn't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell it was computer done. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin. I ran over you.
Well, the CGI in this movie was really cool. You know, it was not too
toned
much.
down.
It was realistic.
It was put where it was needed. It didn't have to exaggerate or elaborate the story.
Yeah, that's one thing I couldn't stand about the prequels. The CGI was overkill in them.
Mhm.
It was.
The whole Raftar thing, I thought, was out of place in the movie.
All right. Sorry, Andrew, if you're watching. No.
The thing is, CGI, if you know it's CGI, then you're using too much CGI. If you're watching something, you don't even know you're seeing CGI. Like, they film it in, for example, in Vancouver, they film things, and they make it look like Washington, D.C. And you wouldn't know that you're watching CGI but like you said, the prequels is just a total CGI environment. Then, yeah, it doesn't work, really. It's just... This looks a lot better than any of those did.
There was a concept art of for the Force Awakens about Darth Vader that he showed up or something, you know, with the light side and the dark side. Yeah, as Force Ghost.
Well, let's wait until we see the Force Ghost. Let's see if we see a Force Ghost.
The only question that I think people would like to since Han Solo was
hang on, everybody's breaking up.
Yeah,
let's try again.
Go ahead, Tim.
Beef, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, so before we close out,
I just hope we get away from the over-exaggerated Force gun.
yeah, hopefully there are too many Force ghosts, unless Roddy Piper's one of them, because he rocks.
You know,
you know, I don't think people understand Force ghosting is actually like something they have to learn. You know, Qui-Gon, it said in Revenge of the Sith, has found a way to come back. So it's not like
also that scene from when Rey was panicking. She was all.
Carry on.
She was all seeing weird things, you know,
flashbacks and things. Yeah.
Yes, and it was great because they had Ewan McGregor coming to record new lines for that.
Yeah, and some, you know, because Luke Skywalker was saying no, in, you know.
Yeah.
Because you saw the hand and
the one thing I didn't get is why did he lose his hand? Because he had a glove. He had like a replica of his hand in Empire and Return of the Jedi, and here it's all robotic.
Maybe you lost it on the way to.
Some say the skin
deteriorated. Exactly. Yeah, it just deteriorated over time. It has been.
Whoops! What was I doing there?
The planet's pretty lonely.
Yeah. But the end battle was very cool, you know, with Finn and Rey. How they did the lightsaber, you know. They didn't have training, and because Rey was beating some ass really with Kylo, and you know his.
I don't remember that being part of the film.
That bit, I thought that, like, you know, the part when she, like, cuts him down, I, like, punched the wall because I thought we were getting a one-off villain. I thought he'd, like, died right there.
Yeah, me too.
Like, boom. So I punched the wall in the cinema really hard because I actually got super annoyed. I'm like, not another one-off villain. Punch.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I thought they ended that in a good way because there wasn't really a way you could end it where either party would leave the other living. So
yeah, because Rey was struggling also between the light side and dark side because you could see it in her eyes because she was so angry, and then also in Kylo Ren's eyes you could see the change.
Yeah.
Because they were torn apart because the rock and Finny, but Finn was also hurt by Rey and Kylo Ren in a painful way because she was like, back off, you know, I'm doing this shit.
Oh, so at the moment, so Finn now has a busted back, doesn't he? Because he got sliced down right down his spine. So he's going to be.
Yes.
So he's going to be kind of robotically. I can't move. Get me a chair. But
Take it, Steve legs.
Into the next
Kylo Ren
one.
is going to be more robotic.
Oh,
Here's a question: you think because Han Solo is dead, Lando Calrissian will make a cameo appearance?
that'd be a good little comment. Who killed my bastard friend? Urgh.
Yeah, because that scene between Kylo Ren and Han Solo.
yes, I want a lightsaber fight between Lando and Kylo Ren now.
Because that was so emotional touching, you know. And then wham, the lightsaber. I was really like, wow, no.
Well, I look at just because we did get some of our I don't want them to overdo the old character thing. I really don't.
Yeah.
I thought they had a really good balance here in this movie. They didn't overdo it. It was just to pass the story along, and we learn more about the younger characters, and because they're going to be the focus of the next two movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
And
I like that too. I think you've got two really cool new characters that are, you know, that I was immediately like, wow, what's happening? What is she going to do? What is he going to do? That, I mean, that's the way the original Star Wars was, wasn't it? I mean, like you said, they had the right balance of bringing back the classic characters.
Well, at least we've got Luke to look forward to. So that he'll just be the retainer from the past.
plus Chewie.
Oh, and Chewie, and of course,
yeah.
and of course Leia.
no, the scene I'm most looking forward to with Luke is when he walks up to Rey and he goes, "Look, I'm going to teach you exactly the same way Master Yoda taught me. Time for a piggyback ride, baby."
I've already seen that meme.
Yeah, I saw it on a cartoon earlier this week.
All right, so we don't have an X-wing, but we have a Millennium Falcon. Lift that.
one. Try and lift that, dearie.
Yeah, you got off lucky. What do you call it? Yeah, you think you got it tough? Yeah, you have to lift the
wait. I think that food supplies were running low on that planet, so he ate his own hand.
Ooh.
Yeah, also
Well,
with
he was-
just like Jedi,
He was supposedly all finding what the first temple of the Jedi Order or something like that.
Yeah.
And
just like Yoda said after his death, "West I need, old I am."
The one thing I sort of found a little strange and off-putting in the movie is no one seems to care that Han died.
No, people were upset, but when they realized that was a clause that Harrison Ford put in the contract that this was to be his last one.
That's not the point. In the story, though, they were upset.
No, people.
It was very
People were upset, but then when they got out, that's what he wanted. You know, people had
but no, what I'm saying in the story, he's right. It was underplayed to the point where no one really cared.
No, I didn't get that.
Except for Chewie.
No. I was in the theater and people wasn't shocked.
Ends with Rey and Leia hugging.
Yeah.
Chewie walks right past her.
But that last scene takes place a couple of months later, I believe. In other words, the story has moved on quite a bit. So They
They're all arriving to do the celebration. That
No,
they just
time has passed when they blew up that thing, and then
not that much time. It can't have been that much time.
it was a few weeks.
a few weeks, yeah.
Because this guy had to be taken to heal up from the injury that he got.
How many
You know,
things?
no, because right when they land,
Yeah, they land from
away.
When they land, they get the map, and then time passes before they leave to go to Luke. Time has
Yeah,
passed.
but right there, when they land, no time. Well, like time has passed, but it's not like any substantial, like 1 day or anything. Right there, when they land, when Ray and Leia just hug, and then that's it. It's left off there.
Are you forgetting the scene when Han got cut down, and then a short second or two later, they show Leia sitting there with tears in her eyes, grieving because she knew.
Yes, because she feels it.
Yeah.
Oh, she felt
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, she's force sensitive also, so she felt Han got cut down.
Yeah, but
Not
the
to
thing
mention
is,
the reaction shots with Ray and Finn. We've really only known this guy for maybe a week, or we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but a little short time. They're obviously devastated that happened, as
Yeah,
well as
but
Chewie, of course.
the fact was that Chewie just walked straight past Leia. That's what's getting me, is that Chewie, who like hasn't seen her in a while, obviously, hugged her when he first saw her. He's like, happy to see her and everything. And then, her husband, ex-boyfriend, whatever you want to say there, has just died. And he just walks right past her?
Because he was ashamed, more than likely. You got to remember, Chewie had a life debt to Han Solo.
Yeah.
And he couldn't prevent his death. And he might just feel that he felt, maybe I could have done something. I could have stopped him. So that could have been why he walked past her.
I know, the Wookiee life debt.
Yeah, he's a Wookiee. He's a very old Wookiee from what we know. So we keep going on and on. We could.
Transition. There was some time that had passed in between. That's why, I mean, it wasn't like you wanted everybody to be running around with hankies or something.
And you got to know that Luke also knows. You got to know.
He's gonna already know
Because
that.
she saw it in his eyes.
Yeah. And just when he turned around, he looked at her. That's what I saw. I saw it's like, yeah, he knows Han's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Oh well.
Oh, well, we can go on and on and on about this movie for days. And so let's go ahead and close this out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get around and get goodbyes from everybody.
Hang on, are we going to rate it?
Should we rate it? Really? I don't know if I feel it right to rate it.
That's the thing is because this is part of a next set of stories.
I was going to pass that because this is just the beginning of the story.
Yeah, but you can rate it on an individual basis because
I'm not sure what number I would give it. You see, that I was contemplating that tonight. I really. Okay, we might as well go ahead and go rate it since Tim knows.
I think it's already being rated by the amount of money it's making. So,
that's what's always going to happen anyway. But personally, rating wise, how much? 1 billion in a record 12 days. Wow.
Yep, I think Avatar took 13.
Well, Avatar can't.
Yeah,
Avatar's record's good. This
Yeah,
movie's going to beat it.
Well,
it opens next week in China, so that's more money to me.
yeah.
I think that this movie exceeded anybody's expectations. From the brief trailers we got, over a year ago now, it was way better than you could have thought it would have been. To me, it felt like it was just 1977 all over again. So, I mean,
you know what, Tim? In hindsight, with all the little teasers and trailers we've got, did you think that they gave away too much now, or not? After seeing
not at all. Not at all.
Nothing away.
They gave nothing away.
No, matter of fact, I even think they misdirected you. Because I guarantee you, every single one of you were sitting there going, "Oh, Finn, he's going to be the new Black Jedi guy."
I think the only little bit in the trailer that was kind of spot was having Poe Dameron be there, but that was a big
I didn't
point.
catch that because you don't know that character when you see that 30-second or however it was, a minute trailer. You don't know that character. I was shocked that who you thought was going to be an interesting character actually got killed off that quickly, and I was like, "Whoa, And of course, you know that he's going to come back at some point. I thought he was, and sure enough, he did. But
not to mention the one scene they show where the one character hands Leia the lightsaber. That didn't even take place in the movie because that was all edited out.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Special edition, probably.
Yeah, it was edited out because what happened was originally the chick with the goggles. I can't remember her name.
Oz.
Originally, matter of fact, yeah, she looks like what's her name from the Golden Girls? Yeah, whatever.
Estelle Getty.
Estelle Getty. Originally, she was supposed to ride back with them, and then she presents the lightsaber to Labor. Then it winds up going back to the way later, and that was all changed because they felt once they got her character back there, she basically did nothing. So they just changed that around because they didn't feel her character was kind of wasted just doing all that. So that's why that changed. But let's go ahead and get to the rank. 10, obviously, you gave it a 10. All right, let's go to Beef. Beef, what do you give it out of 10?
I don't think I can give it anything but a 10. You've got a new Han Solo. You've got a new Luke Skywalker. You've had a new Ben Kenobi in the Fett. It hits on everything. And like I say, any film that you can go and watch and takes you back to the age that you first were when you met a series of films like this is a bloody magical thing. I think that is the best $5 billion that anyone has ever spent because it took it away from George Lucas. You would not have got the same movie. It has been excellently done. Nothing has been ruined by all the massive trailers and all the massive TV spots for it, which is quite evident with a lot of films that get ruined before they have a cinema release. Everything has been screwed down tightly. The points that people niggle about are just personal preference things. And that's pretty much what it is. And if you can only put the film down to individual interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah, 10.
Okay, William.
Even though it's part of a trilogy or maybe beyond a trilogy, I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I don't like giving perfect 10s that many, and because of that fire truck Kylo Ren, that's why I got nicked down on.
Okay, Ryan.
Despite my little niggle with something being off with the death of Han, I definitely felt the emotion. I had a little cry in the cinema, I won't be afraid to admit. But there was something just a little bit missing for me. And the whole Raftar bit feeling out of place. I have no other choice but to give this a 10 out of 10. It's just a brilliant movie. And most of the time when a project is handled by someone other than the person who created those characters and all of that, it's met with some pretty negative stuff, reboots and whatnot. This time round, I think pretty much everyone's happy that George Lucas is away from this, and, Star Wars is back and in a strong way.
Okay, Phillip.
I'm going to give this I'm going to say 9.5, purely because of the Kylo Ren thing. It's a good movie. I'm glad it's back, as everybody says, it's back fighting strong, and I want to see more. So I look forward to all the other installments to come. So yeah, that's it, a 9.5.
Okay, Matt.
Hello. Just fantastic, phenomenal. I loved everything about this film. I only had, again, the nitpicky about Starkiller Base, and my only other nitpick was the underusage of Captain Phasma. Other than that, I'd still give it a 10 out of 10. It was beautifully done, and just seeing it on the screen, it was just fantastic. Had the magic of the originals and just felt entirely new. Can't wait for where they go with it in the next two.
Okay, Kevin.
Well, it was very bad. I hated it and I didn't like it. Just kidding. It was really awesome. I really loved it. I can't wait for the extra bonus features on the Blu-ray, to see what's on there. because there should be a lot of info. I hope a documentary about it, how it was made, just like New Hope. The cast was really good. Every line, every scene was amazing. 10 out of 10.
And AJ?
I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. There was good camera plays from J.J. Abrams. I'm thankful for that. Good story, good characters, except for Kylo Ren, who's a little bitch.
Okay, now, me personally, even though, Kylo Ren has more daddy issues than your average porn star, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because it's still an engaging story. It sucked me in, and it's got me wondering, where are they going to go next? And that, to me, is what's very, very important. Okay, let's go ahead and just say goodbye and get out of here because we've been pondering on this for a long time. Well, let's start with AJ.
Catch you guys next week.
All right, William.
Thank you for having me here. Hope to be here next week.
All right, Kevin.
Hope to see you next week.
All right,
Good
Phillip.
night.
It's been fun. I'm glad you were here to hear. Goodbye, basically. Okay.
Beefhead.
Well, Finn didn't do bad for a bloody plumber, did he?
Okay, next is Tim.
As always, thanks for having me. This has been a great discussion of a great movie.
All right, Ryan.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking about this movie. I suspect that the next time I see you all, I would have watched this movie countless more times. But, until next time, may the Force be with you.
All right, and Matt Rose.
So long. Farewell.
Oh, for God's sake.
Until next time, see you at the First Order. Goodbye.
Okay, now in case some of you guys hadn't heard, there has been a scheduling change because a certain event happened today, and I decided, what the hell? Next weekend, we're going to have a talk about Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Rudy!
So join us next time for that as we go back to the cabin.
Thank you.